What's up everybody, we're back again with some more Gript reaction videos. Today we're talking about the hate speech bill again. This video is blown up by Gript Media. Go over to their channel, check it out. It's called Sinn Féin Backpedals on hate speech bill as poll numbers decline. So obviously, you know, that hate speech bill is pretty much as good as gone now. It's completely got destroyed. But every single member of Sinn Féin actually voted on it, so they cannot be trusted, guys. You know, Sinn Féin, I always say this, guys, don't be voting for another party. You know, instead of having two-headed snake, now we have a three-headed snake with Sinn Féin. It should, you know, it shouldn't be having these parties and these big massive governments. We should have independents running the country, guys, in my personal opinion, or some other sort of like party that's a lot smaller. You know, Sinn Féin, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, all these three parties, guys, are horrendous. I wouldn't vote for them ever. Personally, I never have as well either. So this one should be incredible. Like, comment, subscribe. Check out my comment section down below. Tell me what you all think as well. This one's a massive video, 30,000 views in the first 10 hours. So huge video by Gript. Go to my Patreon, go support me over there, and let's go.
After voting unanimously in favour of the Irish government's highly controversial hate speech bill, Sinn Féin is now suddenly opposed to the legislation, would you believe?
Sinn Féin, which voted for the legislation in the Dáil, said it wants the bill scrapped.
This is a rather interesting development, of course, when you consider the fact that every single one of their TDs that were present on the day voted for the hate speech bill when it was put in front of them in the Dáil.
Look at that, guys. Look how many people. I mean, we're talking about people that are elected are voting for this. This is absolutely insane. But then they just, you know, absolutely, you know, literally they flip and completely backpedaled. Look how many people. There's like what, you know, 40 people there, maybe 30. Crazy.
Giving it their full backing. And now they're criticizing a policy that they themselves voted for, citing free speech concerns.
We were very concerned that this legislation was being used as a Trojan horse for silencing dissent, and for that reason...
So why did you vote for it in the Dáil then?
We could not. Well, we were very clear from the outset that we had concerns in relation to that. Right from the very first minutes of the speeches that were given, we expressed concerns. Now, we gave the government every opportunity to resolve that, allowing it to proceed to committee stage.
So, to be clear, first you vote for some...
Who is that guy? Like, just a random guy, man. Come on. This is just all lies and, you know, shadows and...
thing. And then after it proceeds with your help, you turn around to the general public and say, now let me tell you why that thing I just voted for is a load of dangerous nonsense. Of course, I knew it was dodgy all along. I was just supporting it to give the government a chance to realize that too. That's their story apparently, and they're sticking to it. Now, this is obviously not a great look for Ireland's party of change, it must be said. Some might argue that they're simply trying to save their own backsides as they see their support repeatedly slump in poll after poll, seemingly with no end in sight. Which is why they have employed a variety of arguments to try and explain away this very obvious U-turn. So, for example, they argued that they proposed amendments to the hate speech bill because they thought it was unacceptable in its current form and needed to be modified in various ways to make...
Yeah, we don't need it modified. We want it gone. You understand? The people... I've never met a person in the public that likes this. Nobody. Minority. Anybody, guys. You know, ask anyone. They don't want this. So... to just alter it is not what people want. They want it gone, you understand? So this is just ridiculous. This is just, I don't know what the hell they're doing here.
Make it more palatable. And they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that dastardly government shooting down all of Sinn Féin's common sense tweaks and adjustments. They were going to make it fit for purpose, I tells you, but they were foiled by no fault of their own.
The Sinn Féin had raised serious concerns with this legislation right through the process, had tabled a number of amendments, and the government, through their arrogance, refused to listen not only to Sinn Féin's amendments but also to the other amendments that were coming from the opposition.
It was very clear that Minister Harris and Minister McEntee were not taking on board any amendments, they were not making changes, they were not listening to the concerns that were being raised.
Now that is really something to behold. You'd be hard pressed to see chicanery like that outside of a used car dealership. So let's take a look at some of Sinn...
Dude, this is just a car crash. I mean, bro, we're watching the government actively just, you know, fall down. I'm talking about the politicians now when I say the government. I'm not talking about, you know, on post and stuff like that, because when I say the government, I have to be more, you know, have to be a little bit more specific, not, you know, just generalizations, because people say, oh, are you talking about the county council? No, guys, we're talking about the politicians, right, in the flipping Dáil and stuff like that. So Yeah, this is just complete failure.
Féin's proposed amendments to the hate speech bill, shall we? This ought to be a fun and informative experience for everyone involved. So, for starters, the government version of the hate speech bill seeks to ban allegedly hateful speech based on the following characteristics: race, colour, nationality, religion, national or ethnic origin, descent, gender, sex characteristics, sexual orientation, or disability. So if you express quote-unquote hate, whatever that means, based on any of these traits, you could potentially be found guilty of a criminal offence under this law. That's the government's proposal. And by the way, as a brief aside, it also says that it protects genders other than male or female. So if someone doesn't...
Oh, Lord. And guys, okay, listen, we have to have a little bit of, give and take here. But the thing is, that's everything, guys. That's everything. So if you just do a crime, I'll just throw hate speech on top of it. Let's say you robbed a shop. And let's say the owner of the shop is an Irish guy. Or let's say he's an Indian guy, whatever. Whatever it is, guys, you can just say, oh, he targeted me because of my gender, my race, my stuff. It's like, bro, that's everything. That's like what? I don't understand, bro.
Identify as a man or a woman, but as one of the hundreds of other genders, then that identity should be protected too under Irish law, according to this legislation. Although, of course, the government has no idea what those genders might be exactly, or indeed how many of them there even are.
The hate speech bill explicitly refers to more genders than just male or female. Your Seanad leader, Senator Regina Doherty, previously said that there are about 9 genders.
Generations ago, there were 2 genders. There were 2 sexes. There still are 2 sexes, but today I think we probably have about 9 genders. And that doesn't diminish any other gender within the gender identity set.
So how many genders are there, and, can we get the government's official position on that?
Look, there isn't official position on that, but, I'm sure that will all be debated in the course of the debates in the Seanad.
It's a bit like...
Well, that's just a non-answer. But like I said always, guys, I'm a nice guy. I would never want anyone to feel bad about something I say to them, any gender, any of that kind of stuff. I would never insult a guy like that. Actually, personally, I wouldn't, because I find it kind of, it's a bit insulting. People have mental health issues, and it can actually cause them to exacerbate these mental health conditions. So I would never insult a guy. But at the same time, if you're gonna put me in jail because I misgender you or something, it's just nuts, guys. This is insanity. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I would never make fun of a guy or whatever. But then at the same time, when they start imposing their will on you, that's a crazy line that you have to kind of walk, you know what I mean? So,
99 bottles of beer on the wall, except in this case, it's 99 genders our brains have stalled, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, that's what the government version of this legislation says currently. So how did Sinn Féin propose modifying this section exactly? Did they call for it to be reined in and made more restrictive on free speech grounds? Well, not exactly. They called for it to be expanded even further. Sinn Féin called for migration status to be added as one of the protected characteristics, in addition to all the others we just went over. And they even added references to migration status include references to persons seeking international protection, persons with refugee status, persons with permission to remain, and persons with any other regular or irregular migrant status.
I don't even know how you'd insult someone about that. Like, what? I don't even understand that, guys. I'm a professional. You know what I mean? I understand everything. I'm a professional. I feel they just make up new things. Hey guys, today we're gonna put in a new flipping law that says that you can't you can't walk your dog at 6 a.m. It's like just random shit. I'm like, well, how does that make sense? Oh, because it saves the green environment because the dog is not farting at 6 a.m. so the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere doesn't get into that. Bro, we're looking at this like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, what is this, bro? Like, who is making these laws? Bro, I'm just relaxed. Let's get back to it.
So, for those who don't know, irregular migration is usually a polite way of saying illegal immigration. It's when you enter a state through illegitimate means under the radar of the authorities, for example, in the back of a truck through a port or something. Very often, it includes some chancer who's just trying to evade the authorities and sneak into the country on a shipping container when he has no legal right to be here whatsoever. And the Sinn Féin amendment clearly references this because it says it wants to cover any regular or irregular migrant status. To make matters even more remarkable, Sinn Féin proposes defining the word hate as including bias. So putting all of this together then...
Dude, the whole of RT is gonna get imprisoned because they have major bias.
Under Sinn Féin's proposal, if you express bias against an illegal immigrant and say he shouldn't be in the country because he's breaking our laws and has no right to be here, that's potentially hate speech in their view. You could theoretically be found guilty of a criminal offence and jailed if you criticise an illegal immigrant. That's what Sinn Féin's contribution to this legislation was. That's the kind of amendment that they were putting forward. So when they say, oh, we were dubious of this bill from day one, which is why we proposed amendments, they don't tell you that those amendments were to try and make the bill even more draconian. They wanted the government to add more reasons to put people in jail for their words.
See you guys in jail. Like, everyone's going to flip in jail in this new law. Oh my god. Bro, it's absolutely insane. And like I said, guys, I would never insult, like, immigrants or something like that, or anyone in general, guys. Like, you shouldn't be walking on the street insulting people. Like, you're just the biggest asshole if you do that, like, in my personal opinion. But at the same time, you know, these kind of things, like going to jail because you have a freedom of speech, like, you know, that's crazy, guys. You know what I mean? Like, not to have freedom of speech is insane. That literally makes the country, like, just not like, nice to live in. You know, it's just not a nice place to live in, guys, if you can't kind of say what you want. But I guess that's kind of how this place is heading, guys.
Part, oddly enough, doesn't seem to make it into the press releases. Moreover, Sinn Féin has repeatedly and falsely claimed that they voted against this bill in the Seanad when that simply isn't the case. They said this in a widely publicised press release by their Justice spokesman, Pa Daly, last week, and they repeated this false claim the following night on the national airwaves of RTE.
And it's for that reason that we voted against it in June 2023.
You're referring to the Seanad?
Bro, these guys, I mean, how does anyone take these guys serious? If I was up there, man, I mean, they're all reading teleprompters, guys. They're just just lying, bro. Like, bro, people need to understand that this is just straight lies, guys. Not wearing an Irish flag. He's wearing some sort of, like, eye, though. It looks like a lizard eye on his flipping jacket coat. Can anyone explain what the lizard eye on his coat is? What? Bro, what is happening? This country is just insane, bro. Now, Ireland's gone insane, lads.
Yes.
On the spot, RTE's David McCullough, to his credit, called Sinn Féin out for this and said, you didn't vote against it, you voted for an amendment proposed by independent Senator Michael McDowell, but you didn't vote against the hate speech bill itself.
Yeah, I took a look at the Seanad debates. In actual fact, your party colleagues in the Seanad didn't vote against the bill. They voted in favour of an amendment by Michael McDowell to delay consideration of the second stage for 6 months. When that was defeated, the second stage went through in the Seanad without a vote, so they didn't vote against the bill per se.
And then, having been confronted on this point, the Sinn Féin spokesman was backed into a corner and was forced to concede, well, yeah, technically we didn't vote on the bill in the Seanad, but the amendment we did vote on proposed scrapping the hate speech bill, so, you know, that counts for something.
In as much as we could have, David, I suppose that's a technical thing based on the fact that the government has such a heavy majority in the Seanad that neither ourselves or the Independent were in a position to call a vote. So the only way that we could call a vote on it was that amendment, and that amendment specifically called for the scrapping of the legislation, and we voted for that.
That is not what the amendment says either. The amendment said nothing about scrapping the hate speech bill. It was simply about postponing the Seanad debate on the hate speech bill until the end of the year to make sure the legislation wasn't rushed.
I also want to move the amendment in my name, which is to postpone the consideration of the second stage until the end of the year. But I want to do it on this basis only, that it was only proposed on the basis that we aren't going to rush this thing through.
And that amendment specifically called for the scrapping of the legislation.
I even asked Senator Michael McDowell's office for clarity on this point, and they confirmed to me that the amendment was simply about postponing the legislation. And yet Sinn Féin actually reposted this clip to their social media channels, never correcting the false claim.
So they're just backpedaling, guys, because they're going along to get along. In life, man, never just be with people or be part of a group that's going along to get along. You know what I mean? You gotta have your own individual ideas, guys. This is just crazy. This is why when you're in a party, it's bad. You need individuals and independence, you know? This thing, I mean, the only thing this guy's scrapping is flipping his hair loss, guys. I don't know what the hell he's trying to avoid here. Hair loss or something, but You know, we can, bro, with that comb over, we can tell, man. Come on. No, I'm just joking. But you know what I mean, guys? Like, this is just crazy. This hate speech legislation is not, this is lies, guys. Sinn Féin is lying, bro.
So to recap, first, Sinn Féin claimed that they put forward amendments to the legislation, but neglected to mention that those amendments would have made the legislation even more draconian than the government's plan. Then they repeatedly and falsely claimed that they voted against the bill in the Seanad, which was untrue. And then once this was exposed as untrue, and they were confronted about it, they said, well, yeah, that technically wasn't true, but we voted for an amendment to scrap it. And that wasn't true either. So if Sinn Féin don't support the bill anymore, then they could just say that. Just say you've thought about it, you've realised you were wrong, and it was a bad idea, and you've reconsidered your position. The public respects self-deprecating honesty.
Yeah, guys, and like self-reflection, you know what I mean? I was vegan for a few years, you know what I mean? And I, looking back, I'm like, that was the crazy, I would never do that again. I lost a lot of muscle, you know, I felt terrible, you know, and then now I'm like pretty much carnivore, you know, I'm eating loads of red meat and stuff for the last like 10 years. So, like, you know, you can be wrong about things in life, guys, but people hate to be wrong. They hate to be wrong. And these people that hate to be wrong, like narcissistic, massive egos, like, these people are just insane, bro. Don't even talk to those people, guys. You know, when you can't admit that you're wrong in some cases, it's just crazy.
And they understand that elected representatives, as human beings, make mistakes.
Yeah.
People are generally forgiving of sincere contrition.
Yep.
But what people are not forgiving of is a party that clearly supports a policy, and then when they realize that said policy is unpopular because they're going down in the polls, they suddenly start denying that they ever had anything to do with it and start claiming we were skeptical from day one and blah, blah, blah. Nobody respects that approach, nor should they. They're even doing the same thing on immigration lately. Here's Sinn Féin's Matt Carthy saying that Ireland should take asylum seekers because of our international obligation.
Can Ireland ever cap the number of refugee and asylum seekers coming into the country?
So I think the one fact that we all have to accept is that Ireland has not only an international legal obligation, but we also have a moral obligation to ensure that those people who are fleeing war and persecution are welcomed, integrated and supported and housed in our society.
And then
It's funny, you know, I actually researched this a lot. I won't hold you guys up too much in this video, but talking about the war-torn places in the world, well, currently, if you guys can just Google it, there's like 40 countries that are at war. Like Lebanon, like there's all these countries like Lebanon, like there's all these different places that are currently under some sort of like war from another country, or like classified of wars, like over 10,000 people gotten killed or something in like a war. There's like over 40 countries, like the USA has been in a perpetual war since the founding of their country, and they're a Western country, but we don't talk about that. We just want to talk about other places in the Asia and stuff like that. It's very nuanced and specific places that they want to talk about. You know, because they're getting funding from the EU to bring people in. So let's not make it about the people coming in. The people coming in from different places, like I always talk about, they're in a bad situation, but the people here don't care. Sinn Féin, oh, we have a moral obligation, like he's like holier than thou. He doesn't give he doesn't care about you. You could die on the street, he wouldn't care. He wouldn't give you a flipping €2 to buy a McDonald's burger if you would die on the street. The thing he cares about is getting money from the government to bring people in. That's what they care about, guys. People don't get this straight. It's all money, guys. The root of all evil, the money. So that's what it is, man. You know what I mean? These people don't care, man. You know, it's sad people coming in. Like, of course, people need shelter and stuff like that, but it's just, that's not what they're doing it for, guys. You know, Big Daddy EU is coming down and saying, you better do this or else we're gonna put sanctions on you. It's like, well, we have to sort that out then.
And here he is last week saying that Ireland should not sign up to more international obligations because we should have sovereignty over our own immigration policy.
All of those issues are best determined at a national level. The other problem I have...
So you're taking a kind of a pro-migrant view on that one when it comes to their
what I'm
ability
saying,
to
I'm
work.
taking a
Is that right?
pro-sovereignty view. I'm saying decisions in these matters, when they are best made at national and local level, that's where they should be made.
But they're already...
Dude, what's that weird Illuminati badge on his jacket? Why isn't he wearing an Ireland flag? Which country does he represent? What is that? I don't even know what the hell that is. It's like a flipping lizard eye. Is he part of the lizard people? What the hell is going on here?
They're already on the record as a party as having said that they don't believe there should be any limit on the number of asylum seekers that Ireland takes in.
We understand when people flee for their lives, seeking international protection, we will afford that to people.
So are you fully supportive then of the government's policy of not limiting numbers of Ukrainians coming to this country?
You can't limit numbers when people are seeking asylum and fleeing for their lives.
I hope if we ever get into war, guys, Ireland, then flipping some country will take all of us. I'll just say that much. And also, like I said, guys, every country in the world is in a perpetual war. Like every country in the world, there's perpetual war around the world. It's sort of like a fallacy, because when you say you're at a war-torn country, yes, it's very sad. I wish we could stop the genocide that's happening in Palestine. I'm absolutely pro-Palestine. But unfortunately, guys, we just don't have enough room in the country. There's no houses and stuff. It's so disgraceful how they talk about, oh, we have this war-torn country. The world is in a perpetual war. I think China's at war. Like, there's countries, Taiwan, like, all these countries are in a perpetual war that you wouldn't even think of. Kazakhstan, like, all these different, loads of places in Africa, Libya, like, all these different places are at war. South America, like, there's, like, mafia wars and cartel wars, like, so, you know what I mean? Like, can you just take everyone? I don't know. It's crazy, like.
Of course you have an obligation to afford international protection. We all know that.
And now they want to pivot to seem more immigration restrictionist as that becomes the issue that's in vogue.
I don't know anybody who's in favour of open borders. I'm certainly not.
Next, they'll probably start distancing them.
Oh, these people flip-flop more than flipping, I don't even know, guys. You know what I mean? A lifeguard at a beach or something. They flip-flop more than flipping anyone. This is crazy.
Themselves from transgender policies, despite saying things like this in the past.
We must ensure that abortion services are available in Ireland. I think it's important that we ensure that every woman, and I want to include in this trans persons, those who identify as non-binary. The trans community played an important role in the repeal campaign, as did non-binary people. So I urge the Minister to reflect on the demands made by transgender and non-binary activists and medical professionals for the inclusion of gender-neutral language.
There's nothing wrong with changing your view over time. In fact, it can be an intellectually honest and respectable thing to do as new information comes to light. But this kind of carry-on just reeks of desperation.
Yeah, this is lame, guys. They just flip-flop. Sinn Féin are completely dead in the water. People don't like people that lie to us, guys. And like I said, if you had a neighbor that lied to you once, I'd be like, that's kind of weird. If they lied to you twice, 3 times, I'd be like, I'm not talking to this person again. Like, straight up lied about something that's, like, proper serious. These people have lied to us year after year after year, just constantly, and we're just sitting there, and then they laugh about it. They say, oh, we can just laugh about it and have fun because the people don't care, they don't know. Well, not anymore, guys. County Gains News Network is coming to you guys to educate everyone. And also, guys, I know a lot of people know this stuff, so you don't need to be educated, but just to be reiterated on the knowledge of it. But a lot of people understand as well that, these videos that Gript put out are super, super mandatory. They get more views than RT. They're amazing, man. Go check them out. So, Ben Scallion comments on Sinn Féin's proposed amendments to Helen McEntee's hate speech bill. Again, we have to talk about hate speech bill for 24 minutes. I love you all. Stay free, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.